Far beyond the candy forests and glowing rivers, hidden behind giant hills of forgotten toys, stood the strangest place in the world, Rainbow Junkyard. Broken kites hung from trees, old robot heads blinked weakly in the grass, rusty roller coasters twisted through the clouds above piles of colorful junk. But to one tiny rabbit named Lumi, it was the most beautiful place ever. Every morning, Lumi searched the junkyard for forgotten things nobody wanted anymore. Bent spoons, broken music boxes, torn balloons, half-working robots. The other animals didn't understand her at all. Why collect broken stuff? The foxes laughed. Because broken things still have stories, Lumi smiled. Inside her tiny workshop built from vending machines and toy blocks, shelves overflowed with strange inventions. Tiny flying umbrellas, clockwork flowers, shoes with roller skates attached. None worked perfectly, but Lumi loved every single one. One evening, while searching near the oldest junk hill, Lumi heard something strange beneath the metal piles. Thump! 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 The ground shook softly. Lumi froze. Then suddenly, crash! A giant metal door slid open beneath the junkyard. Warm rainbow light exploded upward into the sky. Lumi's eyes widened. She slowly climbed down the hidden staircase beneath the junk piles. Lower, lower, deeper underground. At the bottom waited a gigantic glowing machine stretching farther than she could even see. Gears turned slowly inside glass walls. Rainbow energy flowed through giant tubes overhead. Floating crystals drifted softly through the air, and right in the middle stood a tiny raccoon wearing giant goggles. He spun around dramatically when he noticed Lumi. "Finally!" he shouted. Lumi blinked. "What is this place?" The raccoon gasped loudly. "You mean nobody remembers?" He jumped onto a floating toolbox. "This is the color core." Lumi looked around in amazement. "The what?" "The machine that keeps color alive in the world." Lumi stared silently, then looked upward toward the glowing tubes. "But colors already exist." The raccoon's ears lowered sadly. Not for long. He pointed toward one of the giant glass windows. Outside, far above the junkyard, the sky looked slightly gray. Flowers faded weakly. Even the sunset seemed duller than normal. "The world is losing color," the raccoon whispered, "and the color core is shutting down." Lumi stepped closer nervously. Huge warning lights flashed red across the machine. "Warning, color energy low." The raccoon sighed dramatically. "It used to run on imagination." Lumi tilted her head. "What happened?" The raccoon looked around sadly. Animals stopped fixing old things. He picked up a rusty toy robot nearby. "They throw things away too quickly now." Another light shut off above them. The room dimmed slightly. "If the color core dies completely," the raccoon whispered, "the world becomes gray forever." Lumi stared upward quietly, then at the mountains of forgotten junk above them. Then slowly, an idea appeared in her eyes. What if broken things still have enough imagination left inside them? The raccoon blinked. "Wait!" Lumi grabbed a broken music box from her backpack. She carefully placed it into a glowing slot beside the machine. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, ding! The music box played one tiny note. Rainbow light burst through the machine. One of the dead crystals flickered back to life. The raccoon screamed excitedly. "It worked!" Lumi smiled. Broken things still remember being loved. Instantly, both of them rushed upward into the junkyard. They searched everywhere. Forgotten teddy bears, old toy trains, broken umbrellas, tiny bicycles, missing wheels. One by one, they carried everything into the color core, and every object restarted another piece of the machine. Tiny colors returned slowly across the world. Pink flowers glowed brighter. Blue rivers shimmered again. Golden lanterns relit themselves. But then, boom! The entire junkyard shook violently. A giant shadow covered the hills above them. Lumi slowly looked upward. Something enormous moved across the junk mountains. Metal creaked loudly. Glowing red eyes opened in the darkness. The raccoon gasped. "Oh no!" A gigantic junk monster rose from the piles. Its body was made from broken machines, rusted pipes, toy parts, and tangled wires. The scrap titan. Every step shook the junkyard. "Thump! Thump! Thump!" Lumi stepped backward nervously. "What is that?" The raccoon hid behind a washing machine. The junkyard creates one whenever too many forgotten things pile up. The scrap titan roared loudly. Loose metal flew everywhere. The color core flickered violently underground. "If the titan reaches the machine," the raccoon yelled, "everything loses color forever." The giant creature marched toward the underground entrance. Lumi looked around desperately. "What should we do?" The raccoon panicked. We can't stop something that big. But Lumi stared at the broken inventions inside her workshop nearby. Flying umbrellas, rocket skates, clockwork gadgets. Suddenly her ears lifted. Maybe we can. Fast. Very fast. Lumi began building. The raccoon helped nervously while sparks flew everywhere. Broken inventions snapped together into one giant machine. Umbrellas became wings. Roller skates became engines. Toy train wheels spun wildly. Finally, the weirdest vehicle ever built stood in the middle of the junkyard. The raccoon stared speechlessly. Is that safe? Lumi climbed inside proudly. Absolutely not. Then she launched forward. Whoosh! The machine bounced wildly across the junk hills straight toward the scrap titan. The giant monster roared again. Lumi swerved between falling metal pieces while the raccoon screamed dramatically beside her. We are definitely exploding, Lumi grinned. Probably. The flying umbrella wings opened suddenly. The machine launched upward into the sky. Higher, higher, straight toward the scrap titan's glowing chest. Inside the monster, thousands of forgotten objects rattled sadly. Toys, tools, old inventions, lost things. Then Lumi understood. The monster wasn't angry. It was lonely. All the forgotten things inside it just wanted someone to remember them again. Lumi slowly reached toward the glowing control lever, then smiled softly. I know what to do. Instead of attacking, she switched on every invention at once. The machine exploded with rainbow light. Music played. Tiny toy rockets flew everywhere. Clockwork flowers bloomed in the air. Broken robot eyes glowed happily. The scrap titan froze completely. Slowly, its giant red eyes softened. The mountains of junk surrounding the creature began glowing brightly. Then, one by one, the forgotten objects floated gently away from the titan. Toy bears drifted through the sky. Kites soared upward. Music boxes spun softly. Everything glowed with beautiful rainbow light. The giant monster slowly shrank smaller and smaller, until only one tiny rusty robot remained sitting quietly on the hill. Lumi carefully picked it up. The robot blinked weakly, then smiled. The raccoon stared in amazement. You didn't destroy the titan. Lumi hugged the tiny robot gently. It just needed someone to care about the things inside it. Deep underground, the color core suddenly roared back to full power. Rainbow energy exploded across the world. Clouds became pink and orange again. Rivers sparkled bright blue. Flowers glowed like tiny suns. Even the stars above the junkyard shimmered with color. Far away, animals stepped outside their homes in amazement. The whole world looked brighter than ever before. Back inside the glowing color core, giant crystals floated beautifully overhead. The raccoon adjusted his goggles proudly. You saved color itself. Lumi smiled while looking at all the repaired inventions around the room. No, she gently lifted the tiny rusty robot. We just reminded the world not to forget things too quickly. The robot beeped happily. Above them, Rainbow Junkyard glowed brighter than ever beneath the colorful night sky. And from that day forward, animals stopped throwing broken things away so easily. Because sometimes the strangest, oldest, most forgotten things still carry a little magic inside them. Subscribe for more magical worlds.